Hi, it's Andrew from C1D Paintball. Most of the video you'll see is taken from Commando Actions D-Day in 2019, and it's a good example of learning something the hard way. Now, I always hydrate. Whether it's in paintball or working around in the office, I always hydrate. But at D-Day, I paid the price for not doing it enough. Now, it's really important to say that the staff and team leaders at the event mentioned multiple times to stay hydrated both before and during the event. So what happens in this video is all my own fault. Now, Commando had a lot of water for free in many areas that was easy to get to. Connor and I both had water bottles on us, but I still got myself into trouble. This was the first time either Connor or I had played in an outdoor or a big game. Up to then, we played exclusively indoors, which meant controlled temperatures and games which lasted at most maybe 10 to 15 minutes. So this is the start of the problem. In the AM part of the battle, we were defending along the tree line in the east. So this was a 3-hour match where we did manage to keep cool. But take into account this is 3 hours of straight play. I mean, sure, when we got hit, we got back to spawn, but we jogged all the way. I mean, we're having too much fun to sit and take time off. Now, going into lunch, we were in good shape, but consider that normally if we play in an indoor 4-hour session, it might involve only 2 hours of gameplay. So this one morning at D-Day already saw us playing more than what we're used to. The hour break between matches was surely welcome. Now, another part of the problem rears its head early into the second half, as we are now starting in the west attacking the beach. Now, although we had the option of swinging wide west into the forest or north town, this was our first D-Day, so we wanted to hit the beach first. Of course, everybody wants to do that. Now, we were going to the beach at the hardest part of the day in June, and directly into the sunlight with barely any shade. Now, the other problem was what we were wearing. Typically, Connor and I wear all black gear, with basically only our fingertips exposed. Black baseball cap, the chamois around our necks, and a full-length compression shirt is set up to be very protective, comfortable, and cool indoors where, again, the temperature is controlled, but becomes an issue in that direct midday June sunlight. Now, the adrenaline of attacking on the beach made time fly by, and we didn't really remember to hydrate. So it was over 75 minutes of action in this baking heat with not a lot of water. Now, at this point, Connor and I decided to retreat and go north along the western path when this happened.
I know. Gotta send someone, I'm pretty tired. Go on, let's go.
My legs got real heavy. Actually, my whole body did, and I started to get a bit dizzy. I leaned up against this wall to keep myself standing and realized I gotta take a serious break.
Let me rest here for 2 minutes. You go up.
Connor offers to go back to the car with me, but that's way far away. So after I collect myself, I head to the break tent for the next 45 minutes. Once again, Commando Action, being true professionals, had water for us at the rest area, and I take a few things off and hydrate. Now, I lost the baseball hat, and thanks to the advice of another player in the rest area, soaked my chamois in water, so when I wrapped it around my neck, it was very cooling. And I only went back to the field when I felt I was 100% ready. Not to mention, I only went back in the covered forest area. I didn't want to get that feeling again. Now, I'd like you to know I'm not a total idiot. Once again, it's a bit embarrassing to a certain level to do this video and all, but in the end, others might be able to learn for this. So here we go.
I've come to the conclusion, I hope,
Now after this big game, and I'll note that the rest of the day I was absolutely fine, I adjusted how Connor and I approach these big games as far as preparing for it, and we applied this to the next big game we played a couple of months later in Mirabel. 1. Get familiar with the map. Now, I always like to look at the layout of the field prior to playing. In fact, if you saw some of the other videos of Commando and the Mirabel big games, you see me break down the fields and strategy we used. But now I consider the time of day and weather. Example, for Mirabel's match, they had the option of taking the path north in the forest or south in the more open beach area to fight in the morning or afternoon battle. So in the AM, I decided we'd take the more open area, since it wouldn't be as hot as the afternoon. So obviously, in the hotter afternoon, we took a route under the cover of the forest. This also includes paying more attention and noting where the rest stations are so we know where we can cool down. 2. We added short sleeve compression shirts to our kit. Now again, using Mirabel as a model to approach the game better, we do wear our traditional long sleeve compression shirts. We'd also pack those short sleeve ones in case it got too hot. But since that game, we got hybrid tactical shirts, which has long sleeves but we find are much cooler than the previous ones we'd used. So now we have options to adjust as the game goes by. While we do pay attention to the weather prediction for the day, we pack all the extra clothing because, you know, the weather can always change. 3. We use a buddy system. Connor and I are reminding each other regularly, drink some water. Now if that sounds stupid, remember, we've never had to do this before because we're indoor players. So it became part of our routine outdoors as much as checking how much ammo we had left. Got any ammo? Have you drank water? Easy as that. 4. Noting the clothing again. Although we prefer the backwards baseball caps for protection, we also pack bandanas in case it gets too hot but we want to cover our heads. We also know that trick now, soaking the chamois in the water, and can do the same for the bandana if we need to cool down. 5. Now I did mention we do pack water, but we upped it from 2 bottles to 3 just in case. So that's about it for this topic. And again, it is a little embarrassing this happened, but when you haven't played a long match or even outside before, and that adrenaline pumps in, you run around and the next thing you know, you're dizzy. Well, I learned my lesson. And if just one person out there can maybe learn the same lesson from watching this instead of having to go through it themselves, well then I'll be happy. Thanks for watching. We'd love a subscribe, like, or share. And remember, keep helping others to grow the sport we love.
Game over.